What's up, folks? We're back with another breakdown show. It is not Sai this time around. It is myself and Ash. I knew you said Hash. Myself and Ash here going to dissect the main card for this coming weekend's UFC 308, which will be live from Abu Dhabi at a much earlier time than the usual Las Vegas US time zones. So how are we all doing? We've got big questions for you guys tonight. One that I've been asking a lot of people this past week or leading up to this fight is this the most anticipated main event of the year? So get yourselves in the chat section, get yourselves in the comment section the next day. We want to hear if you think this is the most anticipated fight of the year. Now, to break it all down of reasons why it probably is the most anticipated fight, let's bring up the card here now. You've got Ilia Topuria, who is undefeated, is just coming off and captured the belt against arguably, in some people's minds, the featherweight GOAT, right? Stopped him in impressive fashion. Then on the other hand, you've got Max Holloway, who is a former featherweight champion in himself. He's the BMF champion, and he's coming off what you could say is his biggest win to date. And in the way he did it was probably the most shocking moment of this year.
You could throw the knockout of the year in there as well. You never know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, hands down, he's going to win knockout of the year. I don't think there's any other one that comes close. Maybe perhaps Alex Pereira's knockout of Yuri Prohaska. That could be a slight second. But I mean, when I look back through the previous fights and I go, is there a close second for most anticipated fight? And my guess would actually be Volk versus Topuria back in February. And I think since that point, it's kind of been, the one leading the way throughout the whole year up until this moment.
No,
what do you think?
I'm just trying to think of main events off the top of my head. I know a lot of people may disagree with me, but again, it was just the Yuri versus Pereira 2. Just because of the way that Yuri started that fight. He started off in the first fight so quickly, but then obviously Alex just took over after he got off that the second round, took over. But yeah, just trying to think of another one off the top of my head. I can't really think of one. Like I think you said there, the Alexander Volkanovski versus Ilia fight. So I think, it's got to be up there for me. For me, it is definitely up there. I can't think of any other main event.
Throwing out a couple that you could put into question would be Pereira versus Hill at UFC 300. However, I do feel that UFC 300 main event was hyped up quite a lot in the build-up, and I think a lot of people were disappointed with that main event being made because they were expecting something a lot bigger. I think other options is there. You could say Dricus du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya because of their history that they had in the octagon, and that kind of hyped that fight up a little bit. But then some could say that Izzy went into that fight, shouldn't have deserved the title fight. I think there was an argument there for that. Other fights looking at now, you've got you mentioned Pereira versus Prohaska 2. You've got Edwards versus Magomed 2. Not sure. Don't think it's up there.
I think if Ben Mohamed's ever in a sort of fight, you're like, ugh. Even though actually I say that, but I'm actually quite intrigued to see him versus Shavkat. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be towards the end of the year, but then you could also add Jones versus Miocic into the mix anyway. I wouldn't say it's the most anticipated fight of the year, but I reckon it maybe could be top 5.
Yeah.
For hype wise, but okay, moving on. Let's see. Is we got any chats at the moment?
Let's
from people who might.
Let's have a little look. So George Merry's in the house. Welcome in, George. He says, "Good evening, ATF Mandem. What is good on this beautiful Wednesday evening?"
Ooh,
he says, "Yes, it is, but I think UFC 310 has a lot of people talking too. That is very true. They're trying to get a few good fights on there, which is very, very true." Breezy's in the house. He says, hello. Welcome in, Breezy. Hope you're doing well, sir. And George says, how are we, just to everyone in the chats as well.
Lovely. Good stuff, guys. Can't wait to hear your predictions. Don't forget to smash on like on the video if you've not done so already. Let's hear your thoughts on this upcoming main card. Well, if we go through the first fight of the night, which will be in the middleweight division between Magomedov and Armen Petrosyan. Just bring up some stats for you guys to mellow over. Both guys are very kickboxing orientated fighters. You know, we've got Shara on one hand, who's very dynamic, throws a lot of volume and throws a lot of kicks. More kicks than punches, I would say. Yeah. Where Petrosyan, I'd maybe mixes it up a little bit more. His punches and his kicks. For Shara, then, he's got a bit of hype coming into him at the moment. I believe, how many fights is it in a row that he's been on the main card?
3 now, right?
Like it might be three, right? Yeah, Olasheja.
I thought it would have been 3.
In Abu Dhabi, Whittaker versus Aleksandar fight night. I think he was on that one against Tricoli. So yeah, sure, 3 in a row for him. UFC clearly trying to hype him up a little bit and get him some popularity because he is like this unique figure. Yeah. He basically is a pirate. He's got one eye and they're really leaning heavy on that. Do you believe the hype at all? Do you think he's got some potential in this middleweight division?
Yeah, look, listen, I think I didn't really believe in the hype until kind of in like his last fight, just because like you mentioned there, I think he does mix up his strikes very well. And in his last outing, he managed to get the finish. And I think he pushed the pace a lot more. We could tell that Tricoli didn't really want it in that fight. And we actually saw him push the pace a little bit and capitalized on Tricoli being tired. So again, I'm still torn for the hype just because we've not really seen him tested. So you can't really sort of say so. But like you said, Petrosyan being sort of kick-orientated fighter as well, it could be very interesting in this fight.
Yeah, he finished Tricoli 2 fights ago. He did fight Mikhail Oleksiejczuk last time out. Took him to a unanimous decision.
That was it.
Against a fighter who comes out the gate, puts on a lot of pace early, but he was able to utilize his kicks very well to keep him at bay. For Petrosyan coming into this, I mean, when you look at him, he's coming off of a loss against Rodolfo Vieira, who is a grappler. That was arm triangle in round 1, quite quick. Prior to that, he defeated Christian Leroy Duncan, CLD.
He's a very good striker himself.
He's a very good dynamic striker in himself. I wouldn't say that he mixes up his kicking offense as well as Shara does and doesn't throw as much volume. But do you think that Petrosyan has the opportunity to perhaps end the hype train, having already picked up a win against a big, strong CLD who's got a good strike?
Yeah, no, exactly. I think you've used a perfect example there. Like Chris Leroy Duncan, again, like you said, he's a bit more sort of wild in his strikes and he likes to use his elbows as well. But yeah, I think if Petrosyan can kind of get in Shara's face and land his kicks first, I think it's whoever sort of lands their strikes first in this fight is gonna come out on top. But 100%, I think he can stop the hype train. He's just got to get his kicks off first and get his game plan off first, because I think after that Shara will time his, and then like I said 2 fights ago against Takara, he started timing things and took over the fight.
Yeah, as you can see, I've just got some stats for you guys to take a look at. Striking number wise, you can see landing per minute is in favour of Magomedov. In fact, across the board, really, in terms of significant strikes, absorbed per minute. Absorbed per minute is in favour. So, a bit better defence for Petrosyan. That's quite intriguing.
I would have thought so, because like he's more of a guy that instead of pushing the pace, it's kind of like in and out with his strikes.
Yeah, he doesn't leave himself in danger as much, which really makes this fight intriguing. Now, for a win against either of these guys, would you say both of these guys are sitting just outside of the rankings? And with a win for either man, they could very well get a ranked opponent next, maybe. Yeah,
potentially. Yeah, like you said, I think, Petrosyan's coming off that loss of Rodolfo Vieira. I think imagine if Petrosyan would have beaten Vieira, he would have been on. I think it would have been a three or four fight win streak, and then beating the hype train of Shara. 1,000,000% he would have been in the rankings. But for Shara, I think if he stops Petrosyan, I think they will put him in the rankings. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a few people above him in that area. You know, you've got your likes of Roman Kopylov, who's back into winning
I was just about to
ways,
mention
just
him,
outside of
just
out of the rankings. So, I mean, like he's another great kicker in this middleweight division as well. So, yeah, him paired up with either of these two is going to be entertaining. So maybe that could be one that's looked at this weekend after the fight when we look at the rankings.
Yeah.
Let's go into then the gauge then. No point in really looking at grappling aspects. I think Shara did get taken down against Bruno Silva in his debut, didn't he? And put on his back a few times.
He did.
But definitely won the fight on the stroking edge. Petrosyan.
He literally, in that fight though, I didn't see many punches thrown. It was literally, that was his kicking orientating game, that fight against Silva. Literally kick after kick after kick.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm just having a look here. According to the UFC stats page, Petrosyan's only scored one takedown in his fight, and that was supposedly against Armen Petrosyan. But he has been taken down a few times in the rest of his fights. So maybe we could see more grappling from Shara in this if it gets a little bit dicey on the feet.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to jump in there and say I didn't know that Petrosyan's beaten Rodriguez.
Yeah, Rodriguez.
Yeah, he's beating Gregor Rodriguez. That's a good win. Sort of. He's another one that's probably on the edge of being sort of ranked as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's not 100% knocking on that one. We're going to see it eventually. Got some chats then, haven't we?
Yeah, let's go through some of them. Yeah. Let's have a look.
I'll get the gauge up ready.
Boom, 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 boom. So, George Murray says, got to be ranked next if Shara wins, but his medical reasoning puts a problem in the way as the ranked opponent tends to fight often.
That is true, and yeah,
is that 'cause Shara doesn't fight often?
I think Shara might be in that same category as Khamzat, where he's not allowed to fight on US soil and they can only find him fights in Abu Dhabi.
Interesting.
I feel like he might be, which is a shame. But
was actually true about Khamzat, then he can't fight in US soil, then, no?
No, he can't. I heard that it was something to do with, because he's friends with that Russian dictator. I can't even remember his name now.
Yeah, okay.
And that's the reason why he won't get a visa. But I've also heard that he won't get a US visa because of the time where he flew over to Ireland to try and hunt down Conor McGregor and got sent back. So I'm like, man, you're not doing yourselves any favour. If you become champ, then the UFC is screwed, almost.
Also, George Mo says, where's Floyd tonight?
Floyd Money Psychosi is currently training at the moment with a hard training camp with 3 weeks or so to go.
Yeah, oh boy, come on, Si.
What else? We've got Jason Smith in the house. Yes, Jason.
Yes, welcome in, Jason Smith.
Brother.
Believe in Robert Whittaker. He will beat Khamzat. Well, I'll say so. Khamzat Chimaev. Make a statement. Yeah, we will get into that fight in a minute.
Oh, can't wait to get into that one.
I believe in Robert Whittaker as well, but I will get on to why and everything like that once we get to that fight. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in, sir. Don't forget to drop a like on the video.
Indeedy. Middleweight division. Let's break this one down then on the gauge. Let's actually start with cardio then. Shara or Petrosyan. I'd probably want to say Petrosyan because
I was thinking that because I've seen Shara tire a lot more than I have Petrosyan.
Yeah, he's going to throw more output, and Petrosyan's going to be a little bit more precise with his strikes. Yeah. So I'd give him longevity throughout this fight. Wrong one. Let's start at the top. Bosh. Nice. Speed, however, I'd probably want to give Shara. What do you think?
Speed-wise, yeah, I think I'll say Shara as well, just because of the volume of strikes. Yeah, maybe like we just said there about maybe Petrosyan's going to be sort of more dynamic and sort of in and out. But I think just because of the more volume of strikes, Shara for me.
Well, that okay. Power.
Ooh, that's an interesting one
That's a
because
tough one, that one.
it's a tough one. I'm just trying to think. Did Shara land a flying knee last time or was it a volume of strikes? I'm
I
just
can't
trying to
remember.
think. Yeah,
I mean, he's got quite a powerful body kick on him when he opens up to the body. I do
yeah.
quite like that, and that's
I've
quite
not really
powerful.
seen either fighter sort of have that knockout power. If you get what I mean. I think they're more, as Sai would say, paper cut striking. Um. So, but yeah, mate, I don't know who's going to have power out of these two.
Guys in the chats might be able to help us. What do you think? Who do you think takes power
Ooh.
between Shara Magomedov and Armen Petrosyan? Oh, I'll go get the fighters up. My bad. There you go. So moving on, grappling wise, I mean
I actually want to say Petrosyan. I don't know
Petrosyan.
why.
Yeah, I mean
To be fair
Shara's.
though, Shara does have good takedown defense. Like we said, in his last outing against who did he fight last?
Oh, against
What is his name?
Olaszczuk.
Oleg Jacek. Obviously, like you said, Oleg Jacek likes to grapple and he must have stuffed a couple of takedowns against him. So again, defensive grappling. Could we give that to him for that?
We could, yeah. I mean, we've probably seen Petrosyan on his back the longest in fights.
Yeah, yeah,
I would
yeah. That's
say.
true. Yeah, give it a
Um,
tick for Shara.
Tick for Shara. Okay, who's going to dominate in that area? Ooh, wrong one.
Yeah, I definitely
Uh,
reckon. Like, I
wrong
definitely think this
one.
fight is going to stay standing. If Petrosyan tries to take Shara down, I don't think he will.
Striking then, overall, is it going to be the volume or the
yeah,
precision?
mate. You took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say it's either a guy that's going to be quite precise in Petrosyan or a volume guy in Shara. So it depends what is the side of the coin you're going to go for.
I'd be inclined to go with Shara
Same.
because of the amount of tools, striking tools that he has in
Yeah,
his arsenal. And I think if he's able to give Petrosyan a lot of different looks on the feet, then perhaps Petrosyan will be a little bit tentative to engage
yeah,
because of that. I mean, look, Petrosyan could be a counter away from potentially
yeah.
knocking down Shara and finishing the fight, but overall, in terms of maybe
Yes.
body of work, we might want to give it to
Yeah, no,
Shara.
I agree. Shara, just like you said, a little bit more volume. Um, and yeah, more diverse kind of striking. Yeah, definitely
Hmm.
for me.
Okay. Power Armen says George Merry.
Yeah, I was just about to go click up. Jason Smith again says greetings from Newcastle. By the way, lads. Greetings,
Oh,
sir. Greeting. Brees says up the tune.
up the tune.
He goes just quickly before we wrap the power up. Jason goes. The UK want Max Holloway to beat Ilia Topuria, but the kid is so dangerous and clever. But you gotta believe in the ball. Max Holloway could win in tremendous way.
Oh, absolutely. I think either man can. And I can't wait to get into that a little bit later on. But also,
Yes.
soon in the next few days, we will have another in-person fan cam
Mm,
for this main event where we spoke to fans outside of the Co-op Arena in
yes.
Manchester to get their opinions on the fight, including a very passionate Max Holloway fan from the
Yeah.
UK in Big Si. So I can't wait to share their opinions with you guys. So make sure you got the notifications bell rang on our channel so you can catch
Yes.
that video as soon as it comes out. Because yeah, it's good. It's good to see. It's good to hear other people's opinions on screen, and we got some funny interactions
Yeah.
from that as well.
I kind of got to agree with George here. Power wise, I'm going to go Armen.
Well, I'm on for power then.
I do.
Okay,
Yeah.
that gives 3 for Shara then, striking, grappling, and speed, but the
Yes.
power and cardio edge for Armen Petrosyan. Who are
Yeah.
you going to go for on the night though?
On the night, I think that Shara's just going to be too much for Petrosyan. He's going to get in his face. He's going to stifle Petrosyan just in the way that he likes to strike. He's not going to allow him to set his kicking game up just because of the volume that Shara's going to put on him. But I'm
Okay,
going to go for Shara, yeah.
are you going decision or do you think it's going to be TKO?
I'm going to go decision, yeah.
Yeah, decision.
I don't think it finishes him, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair assessment. I mean, if we go in back into Petrosyan, then mainly submission and decision. Well, he lost a decision against Caio Borralho.
Yeah.
And got submitted against Rodolfo Vieira last time. So, yeah, tough man to finish on the feet. So, yeah. I think decision is a fair bet.
Yeah.
As well. Okay, let's clear that then.
Boom. All interesting fight next, man.
Oh, up next. Whoop, wrong way. Lerone Murphy against Dan Ige, featherweight division. Undefeated Lerone Murphy against a bit of a fan favourite now in Dan Ige, having saved the UFC 303 fight, but with Diego Lopez, he stepped in for Brian Ortega to save that fight and keep Diego Lopez on the card.
Yeah, exactly that. 3 hours notice, wasn't it?
It was a matter of hours notice, and he was having a massage at the time and got the call. He was training at the time, though.
Yeah.
Some say he was actually training a lot longer than Diego Lopez.
Yeah.
Which could be the reason why that fight went as long-winded as it did. And
yeah, it's mad as well, because he had a great third round against Diego Lopez. Obviously, we saw the way Diego Lopez was against someone of high level as Brian Ortega, and then for Dan Ige to have a third round that he did.
Yeah, no, agreed. I think Dan Ige is going to be a lot sharper heading into this fight, and you've got Lerone Murphy on the other hand, who's coming off of probably his biggest win to date against Edson Barbosa across 5 rounds. Now, Edson Barbosa is a mutual opponent for both guys. Dan Ige fell short against Barbosa 4 years ago, but Lerone Murphy beat him a decision pretty much 50. No, I think Barbosa may have taken the first round, because we've not really seen Lerone Murphy in much danger yet in his career, but there was like a slight moment towards the end of the fight where Barbosa had landed an up kick right before the buzzer, and it did look like Lerone Murphy was a little bit stunned after that, but only a little bit, and I don't think there was enough talk about it after the fact.
Yeah,
but that's probably the only time we've actually seen him in real danger.
True that.
So heading into this, then you've got Dan Ige, who is fighting up in the rankings.
Yeah,
Lerone Murphy's defending his ranking. For Lerone Murphy, then, he's not really got much hype behind him at all, really, is he?
No,
he's not putting people away. Do you think he can perhaps put Dan Ige away this weekend and make his stock rise a little bit higher?
Yeah, that is a very tough question. I think maybe he could. I think he's got the tools to outstrike and outwork Dan Ige, but it could be just the power of Dan Ige that just stifles Murphy in his movements. Obviously, we know Dan Ige has the power to sort of stop anyone. Obviously, done the same against Andre Fili in his last outing, and we know Andre Fili again. He's got great striking in himself, and he does mix it up well, but Dan Ige stopped him. So again, this one's so interesting. I think if it does stay standing, I think Lerone Murphy could have a little bit more of an output. But yeah, like I said, if Dan Ige lands that right hand, it could stifle Murphy. But again, if it goes into the grappling exchanges, I'd favour Ige, but I'll save that for the gauge.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, Ige's got a bit of a wrestling background himself. Murphy is capable of mixing up his offense. He definitely showed takedown threat in that Edson Barbosa fight. Both guys would probably want to seek an opponent ranked higher up in the division.
Yeah.
It's going to get difficult there on out. You think above Lerone Murphy at the moment, we've got Giga Jakadze, Calvin Kattar, both come off of losses. Aljamain Sterling's fighting most fight Evelev, Josh Emmett, Arnold Allen. We want to see a Brit versus Brit fight, really, do we?
Yeah.
But there's talks and rumours about UFC coming to the UK next year. We managed to get some information out of Dean Thomas last week. Could be on the horizon, but then there's been talks today of Arnold Allen fighting Yair Rodriguez, which I think that fight does make sense in Mexico City.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I think that, 1,000,000% that makes sense, yeah. Before we move on, quick
Go on.
chat from Jason Smith. He says, talking about Manchester, when Tommy Fury will fight again, the lad is just walking around promoting his book. It's good, but Tommy has a long time off already. I was talking about Tommy Fury.
Well, who's buying a book about Tommy Fury? Come on, honestly.
Yeah, that is very, very true. Oh, sorry, I've skipped Breeze's comment, which is a very. He says Lerone wins comfortably.
Ooh,
oh,
damn.
Oh.
Confident.
Sorry, George, I've clicked off your one as well. George Ray says, but 4 years ago, Edson versus now is two different strikers in my eyes. It's very true. Very, very true. You say that though. I've seen videos of Edson Barbosa, and I think that this is the most ripped I've ever seen him. He looks in great shape.
He gets ripped more and more as we see him.
Mad.
But let's not forget, Barbosa put on a good show against Sadiq, you know?
Yeah.
You know? He showed us in that fight. He is not done yet.
Yeah, no, exactly that. But yeah, it just shows, obviously, Edson Barbosa in that fight against Lerone Murphy. We all know what Barbosa likes to do, set up his strikes. He's not more of a volume kind of guy. And this is what I said about Lerone Murphy. He's more of a volume guy. And that's why he could probably throw a lot more volume at Dan Ige. And that's why Breezy's saying that Lerone could potentially win comfortably because of the onslaught and output of Murphy.
Yeah. We've got Ige's got the most experience, as you can see.
Exactly that. He could use his experience in that one.
The absorb per minute favors Ige, which is quite interesting, and the defense percentage is only different by a fraction. 100% Ash nailed my thinking, says Breezy.
Yeah. Oh, missed that one as well. Yeah. So Breezy says MVP versus Leon Edwards headline in April, May next year. Supposedly, I did hear something about that, but I just thought it was just the old people trying to get clicks and whatever on social media. But could you imagine MVP's leap after coming off a loss?
Yeah, that is crazy. But then I think that goes back to what I said when MVP first signed, is that the UFC are going to pay him big money. So the UFC are going to put him in big fight kind of money. I mean, from losing to Ian Gary to fighting Leon Edwards makes 0 sense. I mean, whoever put that, I think it's that. I know who put it, and I think that guy chats a load of waffle just for clicks, if I'm honest.
Yeah, that's
I don't
what
think
I mean.
There's any legs to
it
that.
Can't be. I don't think. Why would Leon accept that fight though? That's you know what I mean. Surely not, unless they're playing big bucks. But you know,
unless it is just purely for the UK fans.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, they're going to sideline Tom. You look ahead at the calendar. Is there going to be a person who could headline an event?
That's true. You know what I mean? If that's going to headline a fight night in the UK, it is a great headliner.
Yeah, otherwise the only other option is Paddy Pimblett as a headliner, and it's like,
that's true. Yeah, because obviously Tom can't fight, surely not.
No. Paddy Moicano as a headliner, I think, makes more sense. Put him, why not?
Yeah,
they're both ranked now.
Yeah, Breezy makes a good point.
You know,
says I'd rather see Leon main and MVP co-main event. Yeah, why not both get them on the card? You know what I mean? Why not? I think that makes more sense. MVP versus someone and Leon versus someone. Then at least you're filling up the card, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure. No, I like those options.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, anyhow, bit of a tangent. Back on a 308. Let's then bring up the gauge for these two then. This is going to be hard, I reckon. Striking wise, you got power.
You're going to go Lerone Murphy.
You're going to go Lerone Murphy.
Yeah,
I think Lerone is quite similar to Leon Edwards in a lot of ways. I think with his striking, a lot of feints, a lot of misdirection, a lot of kicks.
Yeah, no, I was actually going to compare him to a guy that was actually meant to fight in Nathaniel Wood.
Yeah. There's some
like to throw kicks, got some good striking. But yeah, mixes up a lot more than Dan Ige does.
Yeah. I think Nathaniel Woods probably wrestles a little bit more than Lerone, I would say. Grappling wise, though,
I'll go for Danny Ige.
Danny Ige, yeah, he's got some wrestling in his
wrestling.
Power, I think, is Ige without a doubt. Really,
all day long, yeah.
No denying that. Speed
wise, they're both quite quick. To be fair,
they are. Yeah, I'd say Ige is good at covering distance quite well.
Yeah, no, exactly. Tempted to side with Murphy, but I can't shy away from, like you said, Danny Ige's in and out sometimes. I may just have to go because of the volume of strikes. Doesn't just throw ones; he throws the 2, 3s, and 4s. It would be Lerone Murphy.
Yeah, speed for Lerone then. There we go. Moving on up. Cardio though.
I've got to go Danny Ige. I know Lerone Murphy's coming off a 5-round war with Edson Barbosa, but I've just seen more of Danny Ige, and I think he came alive. I think he just comes alive as the rounds get longer.
Yeah, I did like the way that Murphy managed his output against Barbosa, to be fair. I think he made Barbosa fight at his pace, and Barbosa was the one who actually faded, really.
Yeah, exactly.
In the end. And he took advantage of that in a lot of the exchanges. I see George Mary's comment there about the winner gets Sterling fight loser.
That could potentially be a good one, you know. Speaking of winner loser, Jason Smith goes Arnold Allen versus Ilia Topuria. How do you reckon that fight goes? Our British warrior has chances to become the next British UFC champion. Oh, it's an interesting one. An interesting one.
True. If you think that
things have to marry up first, don't they? Obviously, Ilia has to beat Max, and it could be just that MMA triangle. Because if Max beats Ilia, Max has already got a win over Arnold Allen. So,
yeah, I think it could open up for Arnold if he has a good 2025. Yeah. If Max loses, people are going to say Max shouldn't make the 145 weight anymore. He's much more older in his career, which is factors we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
And that he should probably stay at lightweight. And I think maybe he should, next option, which takes him completely out of the featherweight division. Then you've got Volk, who's waiting for a rematch.
Yeah.
You've also got Diego Lopez ahead of him.
Yeah.
But
mad.
You've got, say, if Arnold Allen does get paired against Yair Rodriguez, when is that going to be? Is a question, right? Say he beats Yair Rodriguez, UFC will want to do the Volkanovski rematch with Topuria, which leaves Lopez waiting out a bit.
Yeah.
Lopez is going to be weighing up as a backup as well, by the way, this weekend.
Yeah, that's mad.
So the UFC could force an Allen versus Lopez fight. If Allen gets past Lopez, boom, title fight.
Yeah. A lot of things need to marry up before.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Possible. Like your comment, Jason. Lovely stuff.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, that basically concludes Lerone Murphy versus Dan Ige, though. 3 in favour of Ige, going grappling power and cardio. But who are you going to pick on the night?
Yeah, I might upset a lot of people. Might actually be picking Ige in this one. It's one of them where I think he's gonna. I know I say he's gonna wear on his UFC experience, but obviously Barbosa's got a lot of UFC experience as well. But I think Barbosa is one of them guys that just likes to strike and obviously likes that knockout and doesn't really utilize a game plan going into a fight. I think he just strikes and never really has that game plan. No, exactly. I think Danny Ige is wise to it, and if he's not finding ways or timing things on the feet, he will use that grappling and maybe try and win in the grappling exchanges and use his wrestling. So I might be siding with Danny Ige in this one.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I can pretty much see Lerone Murphy decision written all over it.
Yeah, again,
to be honest, I think it's probably my favourite option.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that either. Just because if he keeps on the feet, I think he wins. If he keeps on the feet, Murphy, that is.
Breezy says parlay's effed. Ash, sorry to tell you. George says bring back Sai. Boo. How Unpatriotic. Mate, are you not? I mean, you want to bring back
hang on, guys. Hang on. So I'm just gonna get my phone and I'm gonna take a picture of these comments for when Danny Ige wins. Hang on.
Not only that, you're also going. You want to bring back Sai, who reckons that John Jones is going to beat Tom Aspinall, by the way. And I don't know if he pick Aspinall to beat Pavlovich. I can't remember.
I can't remember. I think he picked Pavlovich. I can't remember now. Yeah, there was something like that that did happen. Yeah.
Yeah, so hold your tongue, Mr. Merry. All right, that basically concludes it. Decision Murphy, I think I will go with on the night.
It's quite funny, obviously, Breezy saying the parlay's screwed already, but it's I think last week it was who is the co-main event? It was a massive underdog, 4-1. Who was it? Who is it the co-main event last week? Let's have a look. Who was co-main event?
I've got such short-term memory with fights. It's unreal.
Yeah, just having a little look.
Come Sunday morning, I've forgotten what any of the fights were.
Yeah, that was it. So it was Rob Font versus Carter Phillips. Rob Font was on the MMA Fantasy. He was an extreme underdog, and he was betting-wise 4-1. I was like, mate, all over that.
I see you. See your logic in picking Ige.
He's got the best jab in the bantamweight division, I think. Rob Font. His jab is love his jab.
George Murray's quote. Get that up. That's funny.
Oh, hang on. Let's go back to it. Sorry, I was clicking on the event. Oh, let's go back. He goes. Get rid of both. Just have JK and Dean Thomas. Listen, George, come on now.
Dean would probably be game. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Dean loves it.
We could potentially, speak to him, see if he could jump on watch along, and we can actually have live. We can actually do what Joe Rogan and John Hackney do and say, "Hey guys, we're just going to go up to Dean Thomas."
Yeah, because I wonder how often he works the events. Actually,
yeah, no,
I think he works most of them.
I don't think he does fight nights, or does he?
I don't know.
Or does he only do Vegas ones like Joe?
Maybe, because speaking to him, since speaking to him, every time I do homework now, I just always notice Dean popping up.
Ah, okay.
And I'm like, it could be, yeah. I don't know.
George Murray says Rakić, the next title challenger video.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've already got something coming out about that tomorrow as well, so stay tuned for that. I know it's only a short, but anyway. Breezy says I went Font last week and was right, and I'm gonna make that 2 for 2. I think it was the only one on the main card I got right. I actually did quite well last week. I think I came third. I think third or might be fourth.
Yeah, you did shut up in the end.
Yeah, I think it was because obviously I did actually put Rob Font decision. So obviously it was 2 points, but then 1 extra point for the because he was an extreme underdog.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Boom.
Right.
Anyway.
So moving on, light heavyweight division, Magomed Ankalaev versus Aleksandar Rakić.
He fights up again.
Title eliminator, perhaps, at light heavyweight. And it's surprising this one is... do you know what? I've just realised they've swapped these bout rounds. Originally, they had Murphy versus Ige fight at number 3. They swapped them, and I was like,
the battle will probably change again, mate. To be fair, they'll probably put Rakić versus Magomed Ankalaev first.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. But Ankalaev, then pressure is on a little bit for him. Rakić, in a way, even though he's not had the best of runs at all lately, let's be honest, 2 straight losses in a row, has the opportunity to get himself into title contention. Is he going to step up this weekend and put it on Ankalaev?
That is very, very true. And the one thing that I will say, which stylistically could work in Rakic's favour, is we all saw when Jan Blachowicz fought Magomed Ankalaev, we all saw the leg kicks from Blachowicz, and we all saw the start of the Rakić versus Yuri fight. Rakić was thundering the leg kicks.
Rakić looked good, man.
He looked good in the first minute, and it even kind of not stopped the forward pressure from Yuri, but you could see the leg was wilting and going. We saw that there was mouse on the leg of Yuri, but we all know how tough Yuri is. But that could be one, because we all saw how hurt Magomed Ankalaev was with the leg kicks in that Jambilovic fight. So could that be a game plan for Rakić going into this one? And it's definitely going to stop the sort of drive and will with the takedowns if the takedowns are needed for Magomed Ankalaev standing, because Rakić is dangerous standing.
Yeah, here's the thing with this one. I felt Rakić was doing really well against Yuri, and Yuri made an adjustment in that fight where he was able to take away those low kicks and get in Rakic's face a bit more and almost force him to brawl. And which is crazy because you think Yuri is the hands down type of guy, bobbing and weaving his head or anything, but it made Rakić kind of lose his complacency a little bit in this fight and left openings of his own, and Yuri was able to be the one to capitalize under that. So coming into this then, what has Rakić got to do differently?
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on with the adjustment. Obviously, Yuri did definitely make an adjustment, and I think if Rakić would have stuck to that game plan that he was doing, staying a distance, landing his jab, landing them low leg kicks, and it was not slowing Yuri down, like I said a minute ago. He was winning the fight. Like, he was really doing really well, and I think that's what he needs to do in the Magomed Ankalaev fight. Keep him at bay, keep him at distance, use them thunderous leg kicks, stop that forward pressure of Magomed Ankalaev, sorry. And again, like I just said, use it. He has a great jab. So again, if he can keep that at distance, I think he could actually, like I've said before, upset the apple cart and beat Ankalaev. And like you said, coming off a 2-loss streak, and he's jumping into the #1 contender.
Yeah.
Mad.
I mean, whether or not the UFC would still give him
I
fight,
say #1 contender, but you know what I mean? For, obviously in the rankings, #1, because he'll be there.
For Ankalaev, then, his path to victory is going to be to surely take Rakić down, right? And
yeah, no, definitely. Like a lot of people as well with the Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker fight. You look at that on paper. Johnny Walker's on paper probably got the better knockout power, and maybe the better striking. But it was just the forward pressure of Ankalaev in that fight that Johnny couldn't set nothing up. So yeah, Rakić needs to keep the fight at bay. Use his jab, use them leg kicks, and potentially, if he keeps the fight standing, he's got a better striking. So,
Ankalaev surprised me in the Johnny Walker fight.
Yes, definitely.
I thought he was going to opt for takedowns, but he looked very comfortable on the feet. I mean, Johnny had his moments, I think, early in the first round, but Ankalaev started to get his groove a little bit and was able to, I think, land the right hook to put Walker down. Rakić been stopped a few times before. I mean, he broke his leg against the Blachowicz fight, but the Yuri knockout was pretty bad. That was the only one. I'm thinking there was more, but that's been it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at his record. He has beat some top guys. He beat Thiago Santos when Santos was on a bit of a run. Beaten Anthony Smith again. Smith was on a bit of not a tear, but you know what I mean. Smith's a top contender in the division. He beaten Jimmy Manoa as well.
The Manoa knockout was ferocious. That was
that head kick was mad. Like you said, I think I thought he had a good couple of stoppage losses, like you just mentioned. But yeah, he's got the obviously Yuri one, the unfortunate leg one against Ankalaev. Yeah,
Blachowicz. Yeah, the Blachowicz fight, I was gutted. Really, I really wanted to see who would come out on top.
Yeah,
properly in that fight, but maybe we can get it to run back eventually down the line. Let's head into the gauge then. Overall, Ankalaev or Rakić, which side are you going with that one?
Well, striking. Rakić for me.
You give Rakić. Yeah, I think Rakić edges it.
Yeah.
Ankalaev does impress me on the feet.
His striking's got a lot better.
It's really good.
Has improved.
Not sure if it's Rakić level, I'm afraid. If Rakić is able to utilize distance throughout this fight, then I think he can do some damage to Ankalaev.
Yeah.
He's got to keep it on the feet. Grappling wise, though, it's pretty clear, right?
Yeah, that's clear.
Going for the side of Ankalaev. Power, though.
For Rakić, I think.
Yeah, I quite like Rakić for power as well.
Yeah.
He's definitely got it in him. I mean, yeah, as we said, Devin Clark knockout, Jimmy Manuwa knockout.
Obviously,
That's
like
pretty much
he was
it.
landing some bombs against Yuri, but Yuri's just made a stone
Yeah, he is.
until he met a bigger stone of
Yeah,
Alex Pereira.
yeah. Yeah, until he met Easter Island.
Yeah, exactly.
Speed.
Ooh, the way that Rakić started that fight against Yuri as well, he was quick in that. Could you give
He
speed to
was.
Magomed and Ankalaev? I don't think you
Ooh.
can. For me,
No,
I've got to go. I've got to go. Aleksandar Rakić.
yeah, I
For
think so
me,
too. With
yeah,
Ankalaev sort of flat-footed, plodding forward.
yeah,
He's
no,
got some good
exactly,
high
yeah,
kicks. Don't get me wrong. He
yeah,
throws them up pretty quick. But yeah, overall Rakić. But cardio-wise, though, I want to give Ankalaev. I think.
yeah. We give Ankalaev cardio because that's what his game plan's grappling, and I know in everyone's eyes his cardio attacks him, but he does it. So
Yeah, yeah. So, which is crazy here. We've got three on the side of Rakić for striking
yeah,
power and speed, but grappling and cardio on the side for Ankalaev. But who are you going to
but
give it to
but
on the
that's
night?
the thing for his style. That's all he needs. And obviously, that's why a lot of people are saying he's the guy to beat Alex Pereira just because of the grappling accolades. And we've not seen Alex Pereira really tested in those grappling scenarios. But yeah, if Aleksandar Rakić goes in there and sort of like, as I said before, upsets the apple cart and beats Magomed Ankalaev, what does that do to the division? It
I know
proper
it
unshapes
shakes it
that
up.
division.
Yeah, I
Definitely
mean,
does, man.
I part of me kind of does want to see it.
Yeah,
Part of me
I kind of want it
thinks,
for Rakić as well because he's coming off
hmm,
2 losses, and someone as good and as talented and as a beast of him, I don't really want to see him get cut because, yeah, coming off 3 losses, I know he's coming off obviously a former champion, losing to a former champion in Belovic, obviously former champion in Yuri.
hmm.
So you know what
I
I mean.
think
He's
the
lost to 2 former champions. So
UFC would rather give Pereira another striker, without a doubt.
could
I
you?
mean,
Yeah, no, exactly
they've
that.
they've said
Ooh,
Ankalaev is next in line if he wins. But here's the thing:
yeah,
is I'm coming into this, I've got a feeling that Ankalaev's got a bit of a fire underneath him for not getting that title shot originally. The fact that the
yeah.
UFC gave it to Khalil Roundtree instead, and part of me thinks that Ankalaev might just steamroll through Rakić and
Could you imagine?
you know make a
Imagine.
statement. But
Yeah.
you know,
That's exactly what I think he needs to do. Put doesn't matter how he does it. You finish Rakić, make a statement, claim your number one contender spot, get that title shot, and then let the world see. Obviously, if you can stop Alex Pereira, but I think you're spot on. I think they will still do Rakić versus Pereira potentially because it's a striker versus striker,
yeah,
and on paper that's what they want to see Alex do.
there might be
But that's obviously
some.
if he sticks at light heavyweight. That is
There might be some
Pereira.
suspect judges in Abu Dhabi this weekend. You know what I'm
Yeah, yeah,
saying? If it goes the distance and it's close.
yeah, exactly that.
All right then. Yeah, I mean, personally, I can either see an Ankalaev TKO or a submission based off
Yeah,
of the political side of who's getting the title shot next.
no,
It would
exactly.
be undeniable then. All right, cool. Heading into the last stretch then. Ooh, let's clear that. Co-main event.
Oof,
Robert Whittaker, Khamzat
oof.
Chimaev, middleweight division. Winner of this could potentially get a title shot next.
Yeah,
We've heard that Dricus du Plessis will probably defend his belt against Sean Strickland.
yeah.
We're going to see the second fight of that.
Oof.
Whittaker, the most experienced guy against Khamzat. I've heading into this fight, I've been like, well, look, I'm only going to get excited for it once I see Khamzat actually in the
Yeah,
octagon.
yeah. Exactly that. Yeah,
He looks all right going in around fight week on an embedded
yes.
at the moment, but a lot of people are picking up on the fact that him with hair, he looks like he's completely lost his aura. And
Yeah,
he's not as like doesn't
menacing.
look as
Yeah,
in menacing or as in shape, which is, I don't know if
he
he
might
could put
shave
on
it.
some mass for Whittaker, perhaps. But yeah, I'm a little bit worried about that. I'm hoping he does shave it. I think after seeing what people have been saying online, I think he will go bald and bring
Yeah,
out that menacing look again.
definitely.
Yeah, so for the winner is definitely getting out a title fight next.
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
Chimaev possesses the ultimate problem for Dricus, really. I mean,
Oh
it
yeah,
kind of almost is rinse and repeat from him in previous fights.
yeah,
The Kamaru Usman fight was you could say, is one of his toughest fights to date. It looked
definitely.
like Usman was coming into his own in that third round and was landing strikes and stuffing takedowns then.
Yeah.
Do you think Khamzat really needs to come out the gate straight away and look to take Rob down as quick as possible?
Yeah, it's one of them where I think Chimaev himself could be caught in two minds, because if he's sat there thinking with his team, thinking, right, I come out quick against Usman, and that was in a 3-round fight, and I kind of slowed down. This is a 5-round fight as well, which everyone's got to remember, and this is why I think when this fight was made, at the time it was 3 rounds, and I thought, right, if it's 3 rounds, I think Chimaev wins. I think he'll either get the finish early or he'll win the first 2 rounds and then maybe tie a third round like he did against Usman, and then Usman looked good. So as soon as it was 5 rounds, I sided with Rob, just purely because if Robert Whittaker can survive that first round, because obviously we know how quick Chimaev starts. If he can survive the submission attempts, the takedowns, just sort of be in the fight going into the third round, I think Rob could take 3, 4, and 5. But yeah, I think Chimaev needs to get Rob out there early.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that they gave this a 5-round fight. I really am.
Yeah. Same.
Because
I'm shocked.
Chimaev is so popular, you'd expect the UFC to at least put him in the title picture. However, he's not been the most healthy of fighters as of late.
No, that's true.
Plus, you've got the fact he can only fight in Abu Dhabi or any of these places will actually allow him in. So there is a big risk with Chimaev becoming champion one day.
That's probably why they may have put it 5 rounds.
Yeah, but then at the same time, if UFC and Rob wins, I guess, Rob versus Duplessis, say Duplessis beats Strickland again, right? Decisively.
Yeah, I would absolutely love it. We've not seen it. We need some fresh. I agree. We do need some fresh kind of meat at the top of this division now. It's obviously fair play to Drickler's coming up through the ranks and doing what he's done. We've got hats off to him. We've got to say it. I've counted him out numerous amounts of times, and he's done the job, and he's finished Rob and finished Izzy. That's mental. Yeah. But yeah, if Chimaev does it again, that's another new sort of guide coming up. But I would really love to see Robert Whittaker versus Sean Strickland. That would be a great fight, I think.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. And I'd actually prefer to see Chimaev versus Dricus than Chimaev versus Strickland.
Yeah.
Purely because Strickland, I think, can get taken down.
Mm-hmm.
And them two have trained together before, so I don't know what sort of fight it would be. It'd be a bit weird. Now, part of me would rather see Chimaev versus Dricus. So, I mean, who knows? Takedown defense is very interesting here. You got 100% to Chimaev, 82% to Robert Whittaker. Now, looking at the stats in the week, I'm just going to bring it up on my other screen here now.
Yeah.
Not many people have been able to take Robert Whittaker down in his career.
Very true.
Dricus did very well, nicely done. Got the body lock, outside trip, scored some points with ground and pound there. Other than that, looking through it, do you know who the last person was to take Whittaker down?
Romero?
It was Romero. Yeah. Yes, you're right. In both of the fights that they had. But Rob still came out on top and won.
That was such a war as well, both fights. So it could have been where Rob was a little bit tired.
yeah, it was definitely, it did come late into the fight. I think I watched it briefly because I wanted to see how Romero got him down. But Romero's a former Olympic wrestler, So when you go back and you watch that fight, you think, oh, Chimaev could very well get Rob down in this.
Yeah.
Especially perhaps early.
I'm not saying that he's not going to get him down. I think he does get Rob down. It's just how Rob defends it. And defends the submission attempts, because obviously Usman defended the submission attempts so well. Like obviously he was on Usman's back all over him, had him flattened out at one point. So yeah, it all depends how Whittaker deals with those kind of submission attempts and the pressure that Chimaev possesses on him.
Yeah, I mean, without doubt, Whittaker needs to stay light on his feet, keep this
Yeah.
fight standing for as long as possible. And I think he is going to be an awkward fighter for Chimaev to shoot on, for sure.
Definitely.
Which, makes this fight so intriguing. I can't wait until it all unfolds in front of us, to be honest. Striking numbers you can see here just briefly. Landed per minute is actually in favour of Chimaev, but of course Chimaev has had fewer fights.
Yeah.
And it's the same with significant strikes as well. Absorbed per minute is very close, and defence is in favour of Whittaker. Let's hear your thoughts in the chats. Who do you think is going to win this fight? We'll read them out in just a sec.
Yes, Jason, get back in the chats. Let's hear you now.
Yeah. Gauge-wise, though, striking is fair to say we want to give to Rob.
Yeah, get those fighters up as well, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I've not been doing that at all. I'm forgetting this.
Striking for Rob, yeah.
Chimaev,
yeah, 1,000,000%.
Rob's got some good wrestling to him.
He does, yeah. But
I must admit, but yeah, look, Chimaev, there's been no fault in him at all from what we've seen. Power wise, though,
power is difficult, because Rob's got some power as well, and he's got that little combo that he likes to use, doesn't he? Like high kick, right hand. Likes to use. We all saw what he done to Aleksandar, uppercuts, and that finish against Aleksandar is a thing of beauty as well. But Chimaev, though, we've seen him that Jared Mershaw fight, one banged him. That was a great knockout. But apart from that, striking wise, he doesn't really TKO guys, does he? He kind of submits them, doesn't he? So if you're looking on paper and you're looking at factual, you kind of got to side with Rob. But yeah, it just all depends about your opinion. Let's hear you in the chat. So I'm probably going to side with Rob, though, for power. I know that may come across.
Yeah, I mean, so far in the UFC, Chimaev's only gone to the distance twice. Usman and Gilbert Burns.
Yeah. And even Burns had him in that fight as well.
yeah. Sub Kevin Holland, sub Li Jinglian, knocked out Mershaw, knocked out Reese McKee. It was TKO.
Oh, that was TKO.
Darth John Phillips in his debut. So
yeah, I kind of got a side with Rob then because I've seen him finish more.
Okay,
guys.
Fair then. And then speed, Rob
all day long for me. Even though I have seen some quick entries, wrestling wise and grappling wise from Chimaev, and how quick he came out of the gates against Usman, but that's obviously just on his part. But I just think Rob's so quick, man.
Yeah, on the feet for sure.
On the feet, yeah.
Cardio. I mean,
got to go to Rob Whittaker. That's mad.
Yeah. So that gives 4 to Whittaker. Striking power, speed, and cardio, with only grappling going to Chimaev.
That's all he needs.
That's all he needs. Exactly. I mean, the way I look at it at the moment is he's got 2 rounds to finish Whittaker. If he doesn't do it, it's going to be very difficult. And Whittaker will take over 3, 4, and 5. On the feet as well. Those takedowns are going to come less and less. Justin Villager's in the house. Yes, Justin.
Is welcome in. He says Bobby
Knuckles. He says. So, how do you think Bobby's going to get it done then? If he does win, are you going with Bobby on the night though, Ash?
I am. Yeah.
I'm been quite tempted to as well.
Yeah. When it was first made, as I said a minute ago, when it was first made, it was 3 rounds. I was siding with Chimaev, but when they made it 5 rounds. I've got to side with Robert Whittaker. I think, don't get me wrong, Chimaev's going to come out of the gates quick, take him down. He will probably wear on Rob, and he will, like you said, the submission may present itself, and he may snatch at that. But again, Robert Whittaker's got to be defensively sound for that first round. Get out that first round and see how tired Chimaev is in that second round.
Yeah. I think it's either Whittaker decision or Chimaev submission round 1.
Yeah.
And I could very well picture in my head Chimaev being able to get Rob down first instance, making his way to the back and securing a rear naked choke along the cage, and then celebrating wild into the crowd afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, part of me, 60% of me is thinking of leaning towards Rob
Yeah.
decision, I think, is where it stands with me at the moment. Yeah,
Well, you never
let's see
know.
what.
Like, obviously, we saw how a good striking Usman was in that third round against Chimaev. Like, you think we've not seen how depleted Chimaev could potentially be in a fifth round.
Yeah,
Like,
and
could you imagine Rob pouring it on him in the fifth round? Oof.
that was an Usman who came off the couch as well,
Yeah,
man,
with bad knees as
with
well.
bad knees. Exactly.
So,
So
whew,
has
there's
Chimaev been
so
a
many
little bit
interesting
overhyped?
factors into this fight and so many ifs and so many buts. But again, it's a fight game. You just never know what could happen.
But part of me thinks that if Rob wins, that the hype of Chimaev dies, and I think the excuse will be Chimaev's had some health issues,
Yeah. Yeah.
respiratory issues, and that's been his downfall, which could very well be true in a lot of ways.
That's another question that I would love to ask, and I'd love to get your thoughts on actually as well, because obviously he's had a lot of health issues. Another fighter that we didn't see the full potential of, and again, a lot of people may say we still haven't seen the full potential of Chimaev. Could if Chimaev was to lose and we've not seen the full potential, could it be another Zabit Magomed Sharapov kind of moment?
Maybe. I mean, Zabit kind of retired. Did he? He retired winning, right?
Yeah, no, he didn't lose. Yeah,
He didn't
no,
lose,
he
yeah.
retired. He retired, and I think he was like top 6 rankings wise, and smashing it in the rankings. And yeah, obviously he retired too. Well, obviously on paper retired too soon. Obviously health issues, obviously were to play a massive part of that. But yeah, I just want to get your thoughts.
Yeah, there
Imagine
could be a
Chimaev loses.
comparison there.
Yeah,
And I mean, it'd be quite hard to see where Chimaev bounces back from that.
yeah.
I mean, the UFC could very well try and rebook the Paulo Costa fight, which puts Paulo
That
Costa in a
that fight
decent
would make a lot of sense as well.
and gives Chimaev, I think, a great opportunity to bounce back from.
Yeah, exactly. A good fight to do it as well, and a guy that a lot of hype behind that fight as well, and it will be bigged up as well. So
Just
that's
depends how
very
good he
true.
looks. Depends how good he looks in the day. All right, okay. Let's wrap it up then for the co-main event, and let's head on back to look at the main event. We're here at last between Ilia Topuria and Max Holloway. The most anticipated fight of the year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The undefeated Ilia Topuria against the former featherweight champion and the current BMF champion, Max Holloway. Ah, man. Where do I begin? I'm gonna leave the stats up here at the moment. Landed per minute in favor of Holloway. Much more volume than the Spaniard, who kind of plods forward, takes his time a little bit to really set up his power strikes.
Yeah.
Significant strikes percentage in favor of Holloway, but only just by 2%. Absorbed per minute. Holloway's got more absorbed per minute. And the defensive side actually lands on Topuria for someone who I think has got great head movement.
Yeah.
But doesn't move as much on the feet. He kind of slowly scurries forward.
Yeah.
And he slowly, gently moves side to side in this very elegant way. And studying it today, I kind of realised that it's basically to maintain a good center of gravity so that he's got, which is something that boxers do really well.
Yeah, so he can lean into his punches and the power comes from there.
From the core, yeah, absolutely. I've been speaking to a lot of people recently about this fight, and a lot of people have been saying, you know what, I've got a feeling Topuria's going to knock Max out, and we're going to see Max knocked out for the first time. And there has been, I can't remember who now has said this. I wanted to say some names, but I've heard it a few times. I know Breezy might have said it. I can't remember if I was speaking to Olin. He might have said it as well. I don't know, man. I've got that feeling as well. But is this just us counting Max out again? Because we all counted him out against Justin Gaethje. We thought Gaethje was going to wipe the floor of him at middleweight.
Yeah.
And he put on a clinic. Lightweight even. And he put on a clinic. So...
Yeah, exactly that. I massively counted him out. Obviously, I thought that the power advantage was going to be obviously on Justin Gaethje's side, a little bit like exactly in the Dustin Poirier fight. Obviously, Max still had a lot of output in that fight, but just we saw the damage from Poirier with just because of the power of his strikes were taking a massive toll on Max. And I thought that, right, Gaethje's on fire right now as well. Coming off that big win of knocking out Dustin Poirier as well. I thought his punches were going to have more pop to them, do a little bit more damage. And obviously, we all know Justin Gaethje is known for his leg kicks. It's going to stop that forward movement of Max Holloway. But Max Holloway just put on an absolute great performance. And he was the one that was outstriking and sort of outmaneuvering Justin Gaethje. So, yeah, massive props to Max Holloway for coming out the way he did. And then to end it in the way that he did, even though he was winning the fight against Gaethje, and then decided to do what he always does and stand in the middle for the last 12 seconds, 13 seconds, or whatever it was, and point down and even risk it all against probably a bigger, more power puncher in Justin Gaethje, who would arguably have said, you know what, I'll stand here and bang with you because this is what I do anyway. So, yeah, mad.
Yeah, he dealt with the kicks really well, I felt, and just kept coming forward the whole time against Gaethje. And he was landing some really good kicks of his own. He was trying to land the right uppercut when Gaethje was dipping his head to the right-hand side. He was throwing his own low kicks, trying to land that spinning back kick as well that he does really good at. Gaethje came alive in round 4. Stumbled Max at one particular time, but it was all Max kind of volume-wise, that whole fight. My biggest concern is the fact that he is getting older. He did kind of fill out perfectly for lightweight. Now he's cutting that weight back down to 145 again. The fact you've also got Diogo Lopez weighing in as a backup as well. I'm quite worried about Max. I really am. I think it's going to take its toll on him, this cut.
Ooh,
and he's looking very skinny as well.
Yeah.
And I think that could very well fall into hands for a Topuria knockout.
Yeah, but it's mad to think, obviously, I used the comparison and an example of the way that Duplessis was taking the rise in the middleweight division and the way that he stopped 2 former champions, and obviously Izzy and Robert Whittaker. Can Ilia Topuria do that? Because obviously he's already stopped Volk. Now, can he go in there and stop another former champion in Max? That would be absolutely mental for him to do that. I'm not to say that no one will be counting out any of these fighters in this one, but yeah, when you come out and said that you were manifesting the Ilia knockout of Volk, everyone, like I started to believe it as well, and he was so adamant it was going to happen. I think because I'm not hearing a lot of people saying that Ilia will be the first one to knock out Max, and it's just one of them. Can I see it?
I've heard it a few
obviously
times.
I can see it, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't know. I don't think he can. Well, obviously he can, but I don't think it's going to happen.
It would be colossal for Topuria's career. I mean, he clearly is making movements in Spain at the moment. The fact that he brought him out onto the pitch at the Santiago Bernabeu, he has the potential to be one of the biggest stars in the UFC period and really take over. And like you said, we've had Dricus Duplessis take over lately, and we're seeing these new people come through now. Let's get to some chats then. It's interesting
let's have a little look. Oh,
Shango's in the house. Yes, Shango.
Hi guys, just got home. We'll grab a catch up. Love that, sir. Thank you very much. George Murray says, sorry, guys had to empty the van out quick. Van got broken into last week, 3,000 down. Oh no, George.
Sugar.
Oh no.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
I'm sorry, so sorry to hear that, my man. He says, my brother from Hawaii for the dub, says George. Justin Villager says, this got to be the dogs of all dogs, bet of all time. And then Shango goes on to say, this is a mad main, and one I'm going to find it tough to pick a winner. Weight cut is a massive push at this weight now, like JK says.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and as you can see, I've just got the odds up there where Topuria is the favourite, -238.
It's mad to think as well that Max has had such a great career. And I think in his last couple, obviously, I know he's fought Volk a few times, but he's been an underdog in a fair few fights now. Obviously, he was underdog against Gaethje just because of obviously going up in weight and things like that. But mad to see Max a massive underdog. But can he be the one to offload his game plan and keep it at distance and in and out with his strikes and do what Volk couldn't do, if you get what I mean. Because obviously the fight didn't sort of long wind and get to them later rounds, and Volk kind of pour it on, and we didn't see the rounds 4 and 5 of the Ilia cardio, because we all know Volk has the cardio. We know that Max is going to have the cardio. So can we see the kind of the forward pressure and Max put his game plan on, like you said a minute ago, with the kicks and things like that as well?
That is true. I mean, in preparing for this weekend, I've not yet rewatched Topuria versus Emmett, because I feel like that went to the 4th round, didn't it? And Topuria, I felt, was probably one of his best performances against Emmett. The Volk fight was very close. It was back and forth with the low kicks. I think that Topuria's timing with his low kicks was a little bit better than Volk's. Volk may have landed more overall.
Yeah.
But Topuria caught Volk off balance a few times with them and kept him guessing with his feints the whole time in the build-up.
I just can't see Max being in that same scenario where Volk decided to sort of stand still up against the cage. Because we all know that we all know Volk can sort of dance around the octagon. He's done it against Max 3 times. You know what I mean? He's done it. He dances around the octagon. But I don't see Max being in that scenario where he's backed up against the cage by Ilia. Max will consistently move. So
I think Ilia done the smart thing though, because he upped his pace ever so slightly in round 2. He kind of took his time with Volk in round 1, let Volk dance around a little bit more, but then round 2, Topuria started to put his punching combinations together a little bit once he'd got his timing down a little bit more. So I do suspect that Topuria is going to do exactly the same thing with Max. I think Max is going to be the one with a bit more volume, staying on the outside, poking at Topuria, trying to give him lots of little different looks.
Yeah, definitely. I think as well, we all know Max has got a great fight IQ as well. So surely he's watched, obviously, that knockout of Volk a fair few times now and seen, right, once if I do get backed up against the cage, this guy's got that power to knock me out. I have to keep circling, like you just mentioned.
Yeah, if he's
a couple of chats quickly before we get to the gauge then. George says Perks will be in the best carpenter in Essex.
There we go. That's a positive to look at it, mate. With the best tools.
Shango V says odds are weight difference made though, so that's why it's less about his recent performance. Yeah, that's very true. So he goes, is Ilia smoking some strong Spanish strain? He thinks he can compete with the likes of Shavkat, JDM, even moving up to 55 for him will be tough. Islam, Armen, and Charles finish Ilia, says George. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, Ilia, those guys tower Ilia.
Yeah, exactly that. I think as well, yeah.
He's literally just saying whatever he can to get people talking about what he's just said. I think that's all it is, really. It's just barking noise. I mean, Conor did exactly the same thing, and a lot of people were comparing Ilia's approach. He's kind of copying the Conor blueprint in a way, but the problem is with Topuria is English is not his first language, so he's not a little bit more. He's not as outspoken as Conor is in a way, but he is sort of making those crazy sort of predictions that he's going to go up in weight and take this person on and be a 3-weight champion and all that. So
I can't see him. Like I think you're spot on there, George. I can't see Ilia. Could you imagine Ilia versus Islam? My goodness. I know Ilia's fought a lightweight before, but I can't see,
Islam towers him, and he's tall for the
Charles Oliveira as well. It's mad, like the weight difference. I know, like you said, Max kind of filled out very, very well. Obviously, when he first fought Dustin at lightweight, you could kind of see the difference. But when he fought Justin Gaethje, he filled out so well, looked good, looked really, really good. And we were even contemplating, right, I think, you know what, he's actually looking good at lightweight now. He's built for the division now. Like you mentioned, he's getting a bit older now, that weight cut. But yeah, I can't really see, even if Ilia does beat Max, I really can't see Ilia doing anything at lightweight. I really can't.
No, I mean, the way it sits with me from Islam's perspective is Islam deserves to go up to fight for the middleweight, for the welterweight belt first before defending against another featherweight.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Let's move on to the gauge then, as time is swiftly moving on, and it's getting late over here in the UK. Let's start with striking.
Just because I see he has more looks and more diverse kind of striking. I love to use the word diverse striking. I'm going to go with Max Holloway.
Max with striking, interesting take.
I've
already put power in for Ilia Topuria.
Oh, that's set in stone.
Yeah. Grappling wise, I think I'm going to give with Ilia as well.
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well.
Got a bit more of a wrestling background.
Yes,
Max prefers it on the feet anyway, and
yeah,
for me, I think
workouts doing suplexes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the grappling side for Ilia will come out if Max is a little bit trickier on the feet than he imagined. I think he'll fall back on some grappling, maybe into round 3.
Yeah.
If it gets that way. George is saying striking Ilia, grappling Ilia, cardio Max, speed Max. That's interesting. Would you give speed? Who will you give speed to?
He's George says speed from Max. I kind of would say Max speed as well. I know that kind of like the punching speed from Ilia, like when he gets in close, and like I was saying about the KO against Volk, gets in there close. But yeah, just because of the way that Max is just so quick with the strikes and like tallies up his strikes. Oh yeah, I would say Max, but I wouldn't shy away from. I wouldn't be annoyed if you were to agree with Ilia. I would say Max. Yeah,
2-2 now, heading into cardio.
And cardio, we've seen it for the years and years and years. You've got to give it to Max.
Exactly, which actually edges in favour of the challenger. So giving striking, speed, and cardio to Holloway now, with grappling and power on the side of the champion. Like I said earlier, guys, make sure you got the notifications bell rang on our channel, because we've got another video coming your way where we got to speak to some passionate fans outside of the Co-op Arena in Manchester about this fight. And we've got a very passionate Max Holloway fan from the UK on that video. So do make sure you guys check that out when it comes out. Who are you going for on the night, though?
Mate. This one I'll have to do a little bit more digging on, but this is where a lot of people will just side with their head and side with their heart and stick with Max. Just because he's like Robert Whittaker in a way, like he's sort of like a sort of beloved fighter, isn't he? Really, and a lot of people love Max Holloway and don't want to see him sort of lose a fight and definitely go with their heart in that. I'm actually gonna pick Max in this one.
Wow,
actually gonna pick Max. Yeah.
Well, you think Max is gonna take a decision? Or...
Yeah, I think that would be the logical thinking there. Max, I think he outpoints. I think he does what Volk obviously didn't get to do and outpoint Ilia.
Okay. I'm going to go with Topuria knockout. I've got the feeling it's going to happen. I'm not sure which round this time, though. I said round 2 to a T in the Volk fight.
You did, yeah.
This one, I'm just not too sure. I mean, part of me wants to go round 2 again because, like I said, Topuria might just use that round 1 as a bit of a feeling out process.
Yeah, do a Peter Yan and get his reads. But again, you could be spot on there. Like he does have very good precise punches and definitely puts more thinking into the way he kind of plods forward, and it could time something against Max, because obviously I just mentioned Max likes to sort of throw volume. It could time something maybe in that second or third. You never know, do you?
Maybe, that's true. All right, so let's leave it there, and then it is 3-2 Max Holloway. Let's see what the people are saying.
George says, cheers, boys. Been a pleasure always. Keep me company on my long drives home. Tell Floyd I'll be his towel boy.
Well, you might have to fight Ash for that.
Yeah, I'm his water boy. So you know what I mean. If you want to hold the towel, by all means, come and hold the towel. You pass the towel to me. You know what I mean? Dream team. You know what I mean?
Come on over.
P says, I'm going to side with my shin. I'm wrong if I go heart or head a lot. Okay.
Yes, Django. Love that. All right. Okay. UFC 308. Topuria versus Holloway will take place this coming weekend, but make sure that you've got notifications bell rung on our channel, as I said a second ago, because we have got a full watch along headed your way this weekend at a much earlier time. We'll be doing a full card from start to finish. The spinning wheel will be back this weekend with some new additions on there as well.
Yeah.
Some new additions you are going to absolutely love. Now, smelling salts are back. Here's a new batch which I will be bringing to the house. So that's one of them that I'm giving you thus far. But
exclusive.
This other one is going to blow your mind. So make sure you're tuning in with us. We'll be live for the full card. Like I said, it's going to be around 6 hours or so. Boom. I mean, look, if you can stick with us the whole 6 hours, you are absolutely amazing. But don't watch alone. Watch along, as we like to say. I've been JK. This has been Ash. We'll see you very, very soon.